guys? Decided to try something new today. I have this drive every morning, 15 minutes or so, and thought maybe I'd start using it to be a little productive. Give my thoughts for the day. By the way, it's gorgeous today. It's 44 degrees, which I love. I can wear a sweatshirt, shorts. That's right, shorts, Texans. I know that thought terrifies you all, but that's what's going on right now. Yeah, I've been processing a lot lately, man. There's been a new era for my life, our family. We completely changed everything last year. Our track of life for good 9 years or so, maybe eight and a half, we were solely focused on getting into ministry as a lifestyle, as a occupation. And solely focused. I mean, everything was to that. School, everything, and then life. While I was waiting tables, just working at churches, sometimes for free, sometimes for a small stipend, hoping to get on staff. And it just all culminated in me finally getting a staff position and at Cross Kingdom Ministries here in Kerrville, Texas. And it was awesome, and I loved it. I love Justin Carpenter, the pastor. He's one of my favorite people in the whole world, and he was just a dream to work with. Just an amazing guy, on fire for Jesus, and I love him and his church. And I was so blessed to be a part of that. It was a startup church that had only been going, I don't think, even a full year when I started, and I got to be a part of it for the next year and a half on staff as it grew and kind of found its identity, although they're still finding their identity, and God bless them. I think they're doing better now than ever. The church is growing, the people are getting more involved. So anyways, having said that, it just, for me, I thought that was it. I thought that's what I was going to do the rest of my life. I planted, I was excited, and the truth is, after about a year there, a little over a year there, I started realizing that my life was not looking the way I had hoped it would. I was really hoping that once I got into the church, my family would be able to feel settled, that I would be able to feel settled, and the passion would remain. I'd never worked a job I believed in before, at least not full time, and I'd only been able to be a part of it little bits here and there, and so I thought, now that I'm in the church, is what I wanted. This is gonna, and at first it was, the first year, everything just, it wasn't like going to work. It was, but it wasn't. And there's definitely some things though that just, I wasn't in the position I wanted to be. I was youth pastor, which, God bless, I love youth pastors. I love teenagers. But there's just a couple of reasons I didn't feel the best for that position. For a youth pastor, I'm in my 30s, on the far side of 30, if you know what I mean. And so it was a little harder to connect with the kids. And I tried, and I think I was mostly successful. But personally, on the inside, I never had a drive for that. I wanted to, young adults is more my avenue, the 20 to 30 somethings, and even other adults. That's just my gifting. It's where I'm most comfortable. But I knew, it's like everything else. I was used to being sacrificial. I was used to doing something based on need, not on my own desire. And I was just happy to have my foot in the door at the church, just trusting other stuff would open up, how God works. And so that was a little hard, but it was still blessed. But my favorite part of the church was actually, I never had the title of associate pastor, but I actually kind of acted as it. That was my favorite part, was assisting Justin, helping work with him on the more adult side of things, counseling, preaching. Like Sundays I preached. That was my favorite part. That was the part where I came to life. And honestly, it was really hard for me to get up for the youth part every week. And so, and it was hard because I knew I wasn't giving Justin what he wanted. He wanted somebody all in. I couldn't give him that for that position. And it was hard for me because I knew I wasn't giving him what he wanted or hoped for, but I also knew that I just didn't have it in me to give more. So that was kind of a balance, and I just figured it would grow out of it, and then my heart would really come to life for the full job, and I was just, like I said, remaining in gratitude. But then last year, this thing popped up, and Sean Bowles is this traveling itinerant preacher who's very prophetic, and I just love him. He talks and it speaks to me. He has a heart for Hollywood and the entertainment industry, arts industry, and that just speaks to me. I'm a guy who loves movies and entertainment, TV, and I was a film critic. It just always, part of me wanted to do that. Honestly, my hope was that I'd end up pastoring someday and a church would thrive, and then I could basically turn the church into an arts and entertainment church where we led in that industry and I released people in there. And that was my long-term dream, honestly. Coffee is so good, guys. I don't know how anybody does life without it. And having said that, part of me wants to do life without it. I don't like being caffeine dependent, but it's just so delicious. Anyways, So I went to his conference. It popped up. My wife and I, we were barely making anything at the church. Like, my salary was $2,000 a month, which is a pittance in America. And but we made it work. We've grown used to not having much, so we weren't complaining. But it just meant not much extra stuff, So this conference opportunity shot up for a conference in LA, and some in me knew I had to go, and so I did something I don't usually do. I was just jumped on it as soon as it popped up. I got the advance tickets, spent the money, and also in doing so committed ourselves to going to Los Angeles for a weekend. And it worked out. It turned into, it was our 10-year anniversary that year, last December. So we just took that as our 10-year anniversary trip. So I spent money I didn't really have, but have no regrets about it. Committed to going, and it was awesome. In fact, it was more than awesome. It was everything I needed and more, and I didn't even know I needed it. So I'm in Austin or in Los Angeles, and God just does this work on my heart that I didn't know needed to happen. And leading up to that, I've been having dreams about leaving the church that really surprised me. I've been in my prayer times hearing God speak to me about leaving. God speaks. He doesn't always give you the details. Sometimes it's a little cryptic. He'll just drop something in there that makes you just go on a search for days and weeks. And I'd already been in that search place, wondering that, knowing that either the church was going to shift and my role was going to shift, or I was going to leave, which super surprised me. When you work 7 years to get to something and you get it, and then a year in, 2 months in, you start already knowing you're supposed to leave, that's not only hard, it's terrifying, because I didn't know where else to go. So I'm at LA, and I finally realized, like, oh my gosh, this conference, it's about modern prophetic, was what it's called. It's about how God and the prophetic are working in arts and entertainment, and everything they said and everything they did, I was more alive, felt more alive than I had in months and maybe even years. And during that time, I started having dreams and visions and encounters with God, and He'd take me back to when I was younger and remind me how I wanted to be an actor, how I wanted to be a part of creating things, anyways, long story short, I found my heart again there, something I buried deep years and years ago for a number of reasons. We won't get into them this time, but and God dug it back up, and it was super painful and super amazing. It felt like if you got something going on, like an infection, and it's just eating you, but it's kind of buried underneath, so you're dealing with it. And then to let it out. It's super painful. The knife has got to come in, the blood, the pain, it just hurts. But then when it pops and everything gushes out, the relief is there. It's actually, it's more like having a tooth pulled, like a tooth that's so painful, and it sucks to go through the process. But as soon as the process is over, you're like, oh my gosh, the pain's gone. I feel whole again. And I can say that because I just had 2 teeth pulled. 2 wisdom teeth that were rotted out and super painful pulled. So I know what I'm talking about. But that's what it was like. And all of a sudden I'm alive again. I had direction again. I knew I had to get there. And so we started a transition plan away from the church. And all that to say, 6 months later, God's opened the door, and now I'm at a job that it's not what you'd expect, but it's in entertainment. I deal with entertainment now every day, fandoms every day. I get to dress the way I want to dress to work. I get to just create. I'm making videos. I'm blogging. It's amazing, and I love every second of it. And then the crazy part is, we were still in Kerrville, and my heart knew like LA felt like home. But you know, God works in steps. And part of me, when I left the church, started looking for jobs in Austin, because Austin's an entertainment hub, and I knew that that might be where I need to go, since it's Texas and it might be easier to get to. And anyways, I don't even have reasons. Something in me knew to look there. Nothing opened up. And then out of nowhere, the thing that opened up in Kerrville, I got there, and within 2 months of being there, our business is growing, and we've decided we're moving to Austin. So we're moving to Austin in a few months. Anyways, all that is the backstory, and now what I'm saying is, we had this super blessed time. All these things came together. Our finances are in a better place than they've ever been. My heart, I've literally been at this job now almost 4 months, and not a day has felt like work. It's the most alive, it's the most fun I've ever had working. It's the most blessed I've ever been. And all that, the last few weeks, we had a new child, a 6th baby. Yep, we're a big family and we love it. But we had like this grace period of like 4 months, maybe even 6 months, where everything just was like wonderful. And then the last 4 weeks, things have just been really hard again. And personally, not at work, not at, but there's been strains on our family, and it's interesting. But anyways, I want to talk about real quick, just in that time, I'm at work, but I'll finish this in here. In that time, I've been just dealing with stuff that I didn't think I needed to deal with anymore. I thought I was done with it, quite frankly. Not so much sin issues, stuff like that, just self-control issues, anger, frustration, and one weird thing that's happened is like I just like in my spare time, not when I'm in public or anything, but I just hanging out with people and stuff, I find myself just cussing a lot again. It's weird, it just comes out. And I was asking the Lord about it, and I felt like he was like, you know, for years I just had the discipline, and I disciplined myself, but now he's removing certain aspects of discipline from me that had been my own doing, and not from healing, not from health. And now he's like removed that so I can actually deal with some inner stuff. And I believe it's for promotion coming up before we move to Austin. Our business takes off another level, all that, and who knows what's coming. You know, I feel big things are coming. There's a lot of prophetic words I trust that say that. But the truth is, in order to grow, you have to be pruned. And I feel like I'm being pruned right now. And it hurts. It's hard. But in the midst of it, it's like I'm looking at my life, and it's just the most blessed it's ever been. And it's weird, because it's almost like everything on the outside is good, but there's stuff on the inside that's been really hard lately. And so I just wanted to just talk about that for a second, and just bless you guys if you're in that when you grow, and when you get more into your destiny, your lane, so to speak. You know, I'm reading this book right now that's all about range. It's how people with range, which less specialization, succeed more in life. And I'm looking at my life, and I think that's God's design. I don't think it's God's design for most of us to pick something when we're 15 or 20 and run with that the rest of our lives, because you change so much, you grow. And that's not to say there aren't exceptions, there are. But for most of us, the system we've built is all around specialization, but it's not God's system. God's system is, I want you to grow and mature. So he lets us deal with a lot of things. Like for me, I was a shy guy, shy in high school and everything, and yet I love sports, but I wasn't popular. I was a bookworm, but I wasn't really a bookworm, but people thought I was a bookworm because I was really good at learning, and I did love to read, but I wasn't like in a book all the time. I played video games, I played sports. Movies were really what I was kind of really into, any technology stuff. And but I was shy. I didn't have a lot of self-confidence. So what does God do? It's not because I wasn't good with people. I literally worked customer service jobs for my first like 15 years of working. And so at Nonstop People, and I just got to the point where I was really good with people. I could speak to people. I'm a public speaker now. It's crazy. And he had to develop that in me. And there's a number of other things. I've literally worked like 12 different jobs, guys. And he's built me in all those, and none of them were what I wanted until now. But I didn't even know what I wanted because I was so all over the place. I had to find that. And God used ministry because I love him, obviously. I love ministry. I love people. I want to help people. I want to help them grow. I love the Bible. I love teaching it. But he used it for me, my time there, to heal my heart from a lot of things, a lot of religious things, a lot of hurt from the church that dates back to my family. And now I feel like I'm in the best place I've ever been, but yet I'm still working on stuff. I'm going to be my whole life, like all of us. But all this to say that, don't sweat the small stuff, the small beginnings. You're exactly where God wants you if you're with him, if you're running with him. And it's not going to look at all what you think it'll look like until you really know. And that's a grace of his. It's a grace of his that he doesn't give us what we think we want ahead of time. And I'm learning that, and I've learned that because now I have what I want. And I mean, I want more. It's like there's growth, and I want to change the world. I want to impact the world through arts and entertainment and our business. And I want to be in that sphere even deeper than I am now. But it's here and it's happening. But it took years to get here, and I never would have guessed or chosen the path God did to get me here. But the truth is, he was there the whole time and taking care of me. And now I can look back and be like, that's amazing. Like, God did it perfect. And so that's to you guys too. He did it perfect. And so I want to encourage you with a couple things. His path is perfect, even if it doesn't make sense to you. Trust him, trust what he opens up for you, and say yes. Say yes. Don't fight it. Don't listen to the world when they tell you should be doing something else. Not when you know you're in the right place, not when your heart knows you're on the right path. And don't listen to the advice of the world that says just go to school, get specialized. I mean, if you're going to be a doctor, of course, but if that's not your dream, if that's not what burns in your heart, then don't do it. Don't listen to the wisdom of the world on getting to where you are. In this book I'm reading, which everybody check this book out. It's called Range. It just came out a couple months ago. It's amazing. It's all the scientific fact, though, that's proving that people who've done things the roundabout way are successful, longer, and more fulfilled. So that just speaks to me, God's design. So don't listen to them when they try to pigeonhole you. And so that's one thing. And other than that, though, I just want to say too that, like, it's okay to be messy. God's working a lot with me in my mess right now, a lot. And honestly, I've been walking with the Lord now for over 20 years. I think it's 23 years this year. And no, 24 years. And I've known the Lord my whole life. I grew up in the church and I've always loved the Lord, but I got baptized by fire at age 12. And I've had a deep passion for him ever since. And I've had hard seasons. I've had seasons where I didn't look like a Christian at all, but I never forsook him. I forsook his church a couple times, but never him. Always loved God, always loved Jesus. And so the truth is, though, like, God has done a work in me where there's no religion anymore. It's just me and him, and obviously our community. I'm not saying I'm a solo artist, but what I mean is my relationship with him is not dictated by other people. It's not dictated by rules. It's dictated by relationship and the gospel, obviously the Bible, and which is him. Okay, so if anybody was like, oh, that's religious, no, Bible's him. Okay. Not all of him, but it's all in him. Okay. And anyways, but relationship. And one thing that the Bible gives us permission to do is be messy. David was messy. Abraham was messy. Moses was messy. Jesus is the only one who wasn't messy, but he was perfect. But all the rest of us, we should look at those others as our example, and then look to Jesus as who we should want to be like. But it's okay to be messy. He's going to do a greater work in you. And I just want to say that because right now there's a lot in my life that's messy, and I don't always look like the ideal Christian right now. But I mean, what is that? That's something we've created. You know, Jesus is the only ideal Christian, and I want to be more like him. But God does stuff sometimes where, you know, we're not perfect, and so he's got to weed stuff out, and it looks messy. And I just want to say there's grace for that. And so don't get down on yourself when you're making mistakes. Realize, you know, don't excuse yourself as in, oh, it's okay, I'll just always stay here. No, that'll get you stuck. But be okay with it. Have grace on yourself. You know, be quick to repent, quick to forgive yourself, okay, and others. And then just get up and keep going, and realize sometimes that it's not, well, sometimes, all the time almost, it's not going to look like what you expected, but it's better than you expect, and God will get you there because he does a whole work, not a half work. So anyways, this is my first driving morning thoughts, and let me know what you think, guys. I might keep doing it, I might not, but it's been fun. So blessings.